make sure I'm not on mute. I feel like that's the saying of the moment in this COVID era. Thank you very much and welcome to everyone. It's my pleasure to be able to present to you on the building behind Autodesk Construction Solutions, the building behind Autodesk Build, and the new possible in construction. So just by ways of a bit of an agenda of what we're looking to achieve over the next hour, I'm going to start with a couple of major questions that we have in the building industry and construction industry, regardless of product. We want to take a look at some of the key industry problems that we face in our day-to-day lives, and then start to look at how Autodesk Construction Solutions are putting together a solution that we can start to resolve some of these issues and make our team a much more digitally mature model of operations. Okay, so let's start with one big question. What is your new possible? So this is a big question, but it's really essential to think about when you think about your business, about what your goals are, what your dreams, what is your vision as a construction industry professional? What would you do if you could do that? So just imagine what you could do and what you could achieve. So to kick off this, we're going to have a quick poll question where you're going to have to select all that apply to you in your business today. So option one is email and cloud. Are you using email, cloud, Dropbox links to be able to share plans and drawings? B, are you using Teams, Zoom, other to work in construction and with workers and contractors? Are you using paper plans, drawings on site? Mobile devices for site for RFIs, defects, issues? Are you using construction-specific applications, those point solutions that cover off one point of the entire life cycle? And the last one is the big one, a common data environment. Are you using that CDE for collaboration? So we'll leave that poll up for another 10 seconds or so, and then start to look at some of the results as they come through. Okay, fantastic. Let's start to see. This should be an interesting one, as you know, we do start to see quite a few of these different areas being covered off by different solutions. Okay, so let's see if we can close that poll off and start to take a look at some of those answers. Oh, fascinating. Okay, so big one being email and cloud. So we see a lot of exterior correspondence through things like email, Dropbox links, shares, plans and drawings, closely followed by Teams and Zoom. I'm guessing in the era of the pandemic, we're seeing a lot of work with construction happening now at a remote in a remote environment. It's interesting to see that plans and paper drawings are still up there, above 62% of users still using those paper plans and drawings on site. So let's start to take a look at some of these different challenges that we do face within the industry. So it's an exciting time for the construction industry, where we are seeing a lot of high growth rate, but the demands and the business pressures are also higher than ever. So besides the increasing pressures and demands, we're also hearing from our customers, from owners, from general contractors, from subcontractors, about the many challenges that they face every single day. Then on top of that, many of the trends are directly impacting the construction outcomes today and starting to shape the industry for tomorrow. So now I'd like to take a little bit of time to talk about how the industry fragmentation directly impacts the many construction outcomes. So a typical construction project is made of multiple teams across all phases of the project lifecycle. We start to see owners, general contractors, subcontractors all use those different systems and platforms. So we start to see things like, Dropbox, email links, paper plans. In fact, 25% of construction companies use 5 or more different software applications. And this just makes the integration and the communication harder, and also limits the project data usage. So communicating within the team can happen through various formats, including paper, as we've seen. So actually more than 70% of the global construction industry is still working from traditional paper-based processes. And when you tie that into our poll results, we're looking at that 62%. I mean, we're a little below that, but we're still on par with that global norm. So this issue has an added layer of complexity when we consider the communication between those different teams. So let's take a look at poll question 2, and let's have a little bit of fun with this. So in your opinion, according to a global FMI report, how much data do you think goes unused in engineering and construction? Is it 65.5%, 75.5%, 85, or 95.5%? Each of those meaning that, it's either 4.5% gets used, 14, 24, or 35% of the data that we produce as part of this project actually goes used. So a little bit of a guessing game. Let's test your knowledge and see how the results stack up. Okay, as we start to close that poll out, let's take a look at some of the stats that are directly behind that cost of a fragmented industry. Oh, interesting. So we're seeing the majority at the 75.5%. Okay, that's pretty. So the lowest value is the 95.5%. Okay, well let's take a look. Let's take a look and see what's come out of that. So the cost of this fragmentation of the data has a huge impact and a direct impact on the project outcomes across all levels of an organization. So teams are disconnected. They're working from outdated information due to multiple apps or just complete lack of digital adoption. So those paper plans, as soon as you print those plans out, they're been superseded. And this leads to loads of wasted time and security issues due to the unnecessary people on job site. And then on the project level, the disconnection between the office and the field accounts for a huge avoidable rework, impacting project cost, impacting the quality of the output, impacting delivery time and schedule, and also the bottom line profitability. And here it is, here's the answer. 95.5% of project data goes unused in engineering and construction. So there is a huge impact at that business level as well. Unused and lost project data is a hugely reducing potential opportunities, such as that full portfolio visibility. So as the construction industry starts to urge for more connection between these different talking parts, starting to connect the people to data, technology is going to play a key role within this as a direct opportunity. So here's the strategy that Autodesk has started to take toward bridging this gap. This consists of our 3 core pillars. The first one is digitization. So we are fully enabling the construction business for the digital age. And it isn't just about moving off paper, although that is an essential first step to the outcome. It's all about digitizing processes so our customers can enhance the way the information is shared through connected devices. So no matter where these teams are working from, this enables faster and better decisions from a single source of truth. Next, we have workflow integration. So we're bringing business processes together and automating manual workflows across all construction phases. So to connect all of this project data, we're breaking down the data silos that currently exist across financial, tendering and bidding, project management, and even things like OF&M or maintenance systems. So through this, our customers can benefit from all the data generated through that whole project lifecycle. And then finally, we are bringing all of this together and capturing critical information. So we enable our customers to leverage the data to improve their businesses. So this way we can automatically extract some powerful insights and even start to predict a wide range of issues and risks before they even happen. We are optimizing that data usage so our customers can deliver projects profitably, safely, and on time every time. So let's take a look at our construction cloud evolution and where we've been to and where we're going. In the past, we've started to share with you our product development strategy. So our first core step in that strategy was a continued investment in all the products in our product portfolio, including the expansion and the reach of our portfolio. The second step after we've started to bring these different products within the same portfolio is to build meaningful integrations between those products so that customers can start to carry out end-to-end workflows across these products. And ultimately, this is where we're at today. We're at the unification of these products and of these workflows. So we're delivering a unified platform where all of our champions feature come together across the full digital building lifecycle. And this comes together in Autodesk Construction Cloud, where we're enabling companies all over the world to forget the old days of that highly fragmented industry and to benefit from the connected construction.
Managing construction projects is complicated. Dozens of teams, hundreds of changes, thousands of hours, all working together to deliver on time, on budget, on schedule. Delivering complex projects requires a new way of connecting teams and workflows, intuitive tools for sharing plans and gathering project data, powerful predictive insights driving better business outcomes. This is Autodesk Build. Project management, field collaboration and cost controls, all managed together in the office, in the field, in real time. Autodesk Build connects plans and data from design and pre-construction directly to the office and field, reducing turnaround time and miscommunication without sacrificing reviews and approvals. Smart drawings leverage the power of BIM for the field. Model data is a tap away in 2D and 3D. Issues, annotations and photos make it easy to work together directly on the drawings and track progress from any device. Connected meeting minutes, forms and assets simplify collaboration and decision-making. When an issue needs escalations, it snaps to the RFI, change order and cost workflows, reducing confusion risk and resolution time. And in the background, all of this data is organized into reports and predicted dashboards, driving better decisions today and tomorrow. Autodesk Build powers collaboration, drives decisions, and delivers insights. Get back to building with Autodesk Build.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so let's look at what Autodesk Build means and some of the differentiators here that we can start to leverage to be able to deliver these projects. So just as an example to our commitment to deliver this best to our customers, we've had over 400 new hires within our research and development only lately. And we've been approaching this from a very different angle from any other construction technology company out there. So we're connecting teams and workflows through a single source of truth. Autodesk Construction Cloud has all the construction phases supported by that single source of truth, and it allows teams to have better visibility across that whole project. But not everything that can be enabled by this foundational data. We're also giving the teams access to business insights that can help predict an operational and business outcomes on that. Built on Forge, the ACC platform delivers enterprise-grade scale. So this means that better access management through more granular and configurable permissions, and better outcomes through more configurable RFI and submittals workflows integrated with powerful new assets and cost control modules. And last but not least, the single cohesive user experience is focused on the principle of pervasive simplicity. We're able to enforce a consistent and simplified user experience that supports workflow completion quickly without worrying about keeping data in sync in various places of the solution. This user experience leverages many of the principles we have learned over the years that support quick and intuitive adoption of workflows by multiple personas. So now let's take a look at how Autodesk Construction Cloud connects those teams, workflows, and data. First of all, we bring teams and team members together, enabling that easier collaboration from the single source of truth. Whether it is in the office, whether it's on the job site, everyone collaborates through the connected devices. And then we are delivering best-in-class capabilities to enhance that collaboration through meaningful workflows for all phases of construction. So from that design authoring to facilities management, we are integrating workflows to enable construction teams to optimize the desired outcomes while ensuring construction companies expand their businesses. All of this is only possible through a strong connected foundation. So Autodesk Construction Cloud, shared insights, shared data allows assertive decision-making and enables predictive insights. So the documents are shared, so work happens from that single source of truth. And all of this gathered data enables construction teams to better deliver and even predict those business outcomes. So looking at how this comes together in the Autodesk Construction Cloud platform, we start to look and break this down into the more granular details and in the different life cycle stages of the project and how we can connect those. So from the design authoring tools where Autodesk has is relatively strong, we can start to use that information downstream in the planning phase for coordination, for conditioning, for quantification, for qualification. Then we can start to use that information and connect these through into the building phase. So how do we then use that design information, that planning information to start to realize the actual products? So through project management, cost management, quality and safety management, we can make sure that we are making use of the information that's already been created for this project. And then once we have this single source of truth, it makes the operation of this asset much, much easier. 95% of a life cycle of any building is that end phase. So if we can enable a more cohesive handover to that operations phase, then we're already ahead. All of these different aspects are covered and with the shared data that runs from across the entire portfolio. So things like the models, drawings, issues, RFIs, assets. And then we can start to pull those dashboards out in that bottom level, including starting to look at how we network. So in terms of an actual product specific, we can start to look at those interconnections with teams and the businesses, and it doesn't stop with Autodesk Build. So Autodesk Build is part of this unified platform for Autodesk Construction Cloud. So the cloud starts to connect that data, it starts to connect those teams, those workflows. And then we've recently announced some new additions to the Autodesk Construction Cloud. So we've got Autodesk Takeoff, which is a quantification tool, and Autodesk BIM Collaborate, which is in that design and coordination phase. But all of these are built on a united platform with that common data environment. The new modules start to empower your general contractors, your specialty trades, your designers, your owners to drive those better business outcomes. Of course, today we're really going to focus in on Autodesk Build and the workflows we can achieve in the Autodesk Build. But it's worth noting that this is a small part of a big picture. So looking at the capabilities within Autodesk Build itself, teams can start to overcome many of the challenges that we face in the industry today. So it delivers a broad and deep connected set of field execution, project management tools for builders in a single software platform that's extremely easy to deploy, adopt, and then use. Build provides an environment where information sharing and workflows are both tightly controlled and highly configurable. So let's start to take a look at the in-depth look at each of these different components and start to look at what some of those individual workflows look like. So looking at document management, without efficient document management, construction teams waste countless hours on looking for the right information. So having that accurate information at your fingertips is key to avoiding mistakes and staying on schedule. And this is where Autodesk Build portion of the Autodesk Docs piece comes in. So a structured document control process ensures the right information is in the right hands, and it keeps project teams in sync and on track. This starts by setting permissions for all the project members at either a folder or a subfolder level. Teams can choose to look at those permissions. They can start to get very granular in them. And then we can choose to share a folder or a file with just project members or to other project collaborators. We can customize this sharing with things like version options and link expiration dates for additional control. We can also send transmittals to specific users, to roles, to companies, and we can customize those view permissions, include messages, and keep all stakeholders updated. Team members can also find the information they need by filtering searches by folders or by files, file types, or even things like custom attributes. And for team members in the field, files can be synced to the mobile devices by uploading for the field folder. So let's take a look at the document versioning. Document versioning helps manage the sharing and distribution of new versions or changes to things like models, drawings, and keeps everyone on the same page. Versions automatically get updated with clear indicators where new files are uploaded. And then teams can easily compare file versions by overlaying, aligning them on top of each other, and see that differences with things like color outlines. Approval reviews. So So through intuitive approval review capabilities, teams can facilitate, can control, and automate the review and distribution of project drawings, models, and other documents before publishing and sharing with the project team. Once templates are set up, team members can create a simple new review by selecting a pre-made template, adding files, starting to look at adding any notes if needed, and even then just clicking submit. Users can choose to notify reviewers and all other project members with an email message to keep all stakeholders in the loop. When approving, reviewers can choose to add comments, markups, and select the approval status as well from a dropdown. Now, looking at the design reviews, identifying and prioritizing critical design and engineering problems before they create delays and cost overruns during construction with collaboration tools such as markups and issues, we can start to communicate the details on drawings or in line shapes or text markups. Additionally, users can create and assign those design issues directly on the drawing or the model to start to resolve the errors. And then we get to sheets. So field teams need to be able to quickly view the most up-to-date design files online or offline. Drag and drop PDF files or select an existing file to upload as a sheet. And next we can create a new or select an existing version set. Optimal character recognition technology scans, links, and labels the sheets, optimizing them to load instantly on any device. To finish this upload, we can create rules to standardize sheet numbering, and we can add or edit tags. Once uploaded, users can view sheets on the Sheets list page, choose to organize disciplines in order they want that were uploaded, or other custom order, and easily view those associated sheets. Lastly, we can enhance the team collaboration with auto hyperlinked sheet callouts, which enable users to compare or jump to a different sheet with a single click. Or leverage advanced markup, such as hyperlinking to things like RFIs or attaching photos to be able to streamline workflows across this office and the field. We can start to centralize all of this document management and save a lot of time by improving the collaboration today with Autodesk Build. Okay, so now we have that simple, what we were looking at previously. We have seen how simplified use of things like Dropbox, emails, paper sheets can lead to that fragmented source of truth. But by using Autodesk as that core CDE, information flows through that central repository where ideally it's more easily controlled and it's up to date. And then we can provide mechanisms to gate information flow so that the construction documents and other information such as markups and issues are only available when appropriate. We've also released recently an ISO 19650 compliance tool. The trigger of this being, when we start to look at the top 5 countries with the highest BIM adoption, Singapore is highly up there. So we're looking we're listening to our customers on how and why we would start to look at developing this, and we've delivered on it. So now we have a full ISO 19650 compliance tool directly within Autodesk Docs. We can set our custom naming standards up to that standard of ISO 19650. And now through Autodesk Build, we can start to enable you to hit that compliance for ISO 19650. Okay, moving on to the project management. So every day we're looking at the construction teams and they're managing hundreds of RFIs, dozens of submittals and attending hours of meetings. So keeping track and reporting out on all of these project management tasks can be often overwhelming. I know I've done it myself, but if it's done correct, it is at the heart of all successful construction projects. So let's take a look at things like RFIs. So we can seamlessly manage RFIs and connect them to other tasks across the project lifecycle. To start, we can simply click that Create RFI button and fill in the critical info. To help speed up the response time, we can add in suggested answers and provide the critical context by linking in things like references or even dropping a push bin to a specific area within a project. And with RFIs in the mobile, users can edit the RFI from the field, even taking additional photos and linking directly to that RFI. Once submitted, the reviewer will be notified and can respond with a click of a button. And then RFIs can also be connected across the project lifecycle by elevating an issue to an RFI and then creating that bidirectional link between the two. And if the RFI has a cost implication, then you can create a potential change order right from the RFI. And this makes it easy for the project teams to control the costs and track the origin of those change orders. So let's look at submittals. So with submittals, we can efficiently create, coordinate, and manage all of the submittals in a single submittal log. Submittal managers can easily create a submittal item and link to the appropriate spec section, or create a new spec section if needed, and add in all of that critical information. Once the submittal is created, the responsible contractor is notified. Users can open the item, can review the details, can upload any necessary documents before submitting or for review. Then managers can select the necessary reviewers and distribution list members. Once submitted, the reviewers will be notified and can view attachments and provide comments before selecting an official response from the drop-down list. And once the item is approved, the submittal can be closed out and distributed to the team. Closed submittals are immediately available to all of the project members on desktop and mobile, and will appear in the recent activity in Project Home. And when the field team is searching for closed submittals, they can leverage the search and filter features to quickly locate and view that submittal item. Okay, let's take a look at meeting minutes. So with meeting minutes, from the design all the way through to coordination to building, meetings are effortless and productive with clear visibility into the commitments made and an organized history of all the records within meeting minutes. Any project user can simply create an agenda by simply selecting that create meeting and adding their invitees. So for virtual meetings like we're having today, we can leverage the integration with Zoom to seamlessly add in that link. And to build the agenda, add meeting topics and sub-items. With all the advanced text editing, teams can better emphasize and highlight that key information. For each item, you can add files, sheets, RFIs, issues as references. And then during the meeting, users can effortlessly capture minutes, add, remove invitees, track attendance, assign items and due dates to the individual items. And then if a follow-up meeting is needed, it can be generated before attendees have even left the room, and any unresolved items can automatically carry over. With meetings on the mobile, team members can quickly view and search the meeting agenda directly from the field. And it just enables that team to be able to use that too. So looking at daily reports, so clearly document the daily work, we can create transparency and accountability with daily reporting capabilities. So to ensure teams provide necessary information, users can customize the daily report template using the template builder. We can then create the desired daily report by adding in things like weather or changing the order of selection. Once that template is complete, it will be accessible to all the project team members. Then each day, team members can navigate to the Forms tab on a desktop or mobile device to create a new daily report. If the template included weather, it will automatically populate. And in the description, we can start to look at how we log work, fill in the crew details, start to track material quantity, and put in place as well as equipment used. Important notes or things such as linked references, such as photos and issues, can be added to the report. And additionally, users can see an activity log of changes being made, providing critical transparency from that mobile. Then to share these reports externally, users can export the file or even provide a shareable link. And we can start to look at how we streamline this daily project management tasks, ensure that all of the coordination and communication stay on track with Autodesk Build. So now let's move on to perhaps one of the more the more important areas, which is the safety management of these sites as well. So one of the big things, of course, is ensuring that everyone goes home safely at the end of each day, and being able to oversee and manage safety can be challenging, especially if it's in a single person is to be held accountable. So carefully planning is the first step to establishing the safety standards between field and the office. We can start to use and create safety form templates. We can pre-build safety templates. We can start to look at uploading existing PDF templates or building them from scratch. And then from here, we can start to choose the ideal collaboration setting for your form. So if we're looking at how we want to specify the contributors to this particular form, we can make that, we can facilitate that workflow, and then we can make signatures and specific fields required to ensure accountability and data accuracy. We can capture the root cause of safety incidents, so we become more proactive as opposed to reactive. Any safety incident that's saved is a really, really good thing. And then we can start to use the entire platform to ensure that we are making our site as safe as possible. Safety inspections. So again, we can leverage this form and the issues. These are really the backbone of a proactive safety management approach. Team members can very easily complete the safety checklist on the mobile device directly from site without having to have that internet connection. We can create an issue as soon as there's an unsatisfactory answer to a question. We can put the preconditional logic behind those. So if an answer is a pass, we can require a photograph. If it's a fail, we can require an issue. And then we can attach a photo, a document, or a sheet, or another form into that. So it adds a further layer of further context so that we can start to connect all of these different data points into one single place. And then safety training. So we can start to use things like the meeting module to ensure that we're capturing all of our safety items that get raised on a daily call. We can start to look at how we track things like inductions and how people are accessing our site. And we can leverage this meeting minutes to track all of those action items that need to be raised as part of that. We can then create a dedicated safety training folder to distribute the training materials to each individual and make sure that they have access to the information that they need. And then, of course, safety observation. So we want to enable every single member of that team on site as a safety champion. We want to log those safety issues and incidents. We can add areas such as priorities, whether it's small, large, or in between. And then we can start to look at how we log that root cause so that we're not looking at only what happened, but why it happened too. So time for our third poll question. And this one is really around issues and rework and defect rectification. So does that defect rectification impact on your business today? Is that a major factor? Is it, A, not at all? Is it not a problem? We're, relatively happy with how our defects have been managed. B, sometimes, so it starts to crop up. Often this is, happens maybe 8 out of 10 times, or is this a consistent data point that you're seeing on all of your projects? So we'll leave this poll open for another 30 seconds or so, and it will be very interesting to see these. And while these answers are coming in, I'd like to start to mention that really the best defect is the defect that doesn't happen. What we're really looking at achieving is how we can get to the start point and use that 95.5% of data that we have to be able to rectify and not have these defects happen at all. All right, I think let's start to close off that poll question, and we can move on. I'll be interested to see what we are. Okay, so we've got a 37% just saying that sometimes. That 2% that said not at all, that's a pretty good job. I'd be interested to come and deliver on some of those projects. But it's interesting to see that it's relatively evenly split. Defects is something that affects the 98% of us. So any way that we can start to eliminate those is going to be a positive. Okay, so let's start to look at this. Let's start to look at the proactive quality management. So this can often be overwhelming. On any given project, there's hundreds of team members working on thousands of tasks every single day, and ensuring that everyone is operating at that high standard is very, very difficult. So by leveraging a cloud-based platform like Autodesk Build, it enables the teams to take a more proactive quality management approach to ensure the project success. So let's dive in and see how the project teams can reduce that rework. So first of all, looking at the quality planning. So this is the first step to reduce the mistakes and minimize rework on the projects. So to start, teams can create templates for those quality checklists to standardize the data collection. We can use pre-built templates. We can upload existing PDFs or build templates from scratch. And then we can choose the ideal form of collaboration setting and specify contributors and reviewers. Through the use of signatures and required fields, teams can ensure that accountability and also that data accuracy. The consistent reporting allows teams to increase the transparency by providing a clear track record of the work performed, and easily export and share the QA/QC checklists or punch lists to ensure everyone is informed about progress. Users can include any photographs, any documents, any added to the forms and the reports to provide that further context. Looking at quality control, the forms and issues are the backbone of a standardized quality control process. So start by filling out the quality checklist from your desktop or your mobile device too. Any unsatisfactory answer arise, easily click and automatically create a new issue. We can attach photos, documents, or sheets to that checklist to provide that further context. And then once created, all the quality checklists are connected to those related issues or the forms to ensure information is always accessible and always up to date. Through the activity log, users can see transparent audit trail of all the updates made on quality checklists, including assignee changes, including added documents, photos, team members, signatures, and more. And now into that issue management. Efficient issue management is essential to ensure all quality related problems are resolved as swiftly as possible. In the issue settings tab, users can create custom issue categories and types. Select the exact type and enter custom root causes for each quality issue. And then by tracking this type of data, we can start to look at how teams can more easily find information, as well as a better understanding of key problem areas. Teams can also leverage the 2D sheets or the 3D models by placing pins to identify the exact location of quality issues. This makes it faster for team members to find the exact problem and to take action. Additionally, users can directly assign issues to the right team member and automate the assignee notifications in order to ensure faster resolution. Since quality issues often turn into more formal RFIs, through that single click, teams can escalate any issue to an RFI. This connected workflow saves time and increases transparency across that entire team. So now let's take a look at the punch lists. So punch lists are another significant part of every project's quality workflow. So a seamless process for filling them out can have significant time in the field. Through a mobile device, team members can identify and initiate fixing errors directly from the job site by filling out that punch list during a walkthrough or site inspection. As users can create issues based on punch list items, they can assign them immediately to the relevant sub so that they can get resolved without delay. We can then track these issues in one place and get notified as soon as they're closed out. Now, let's take a quick look at asset tracking, which will feed into our last portion. So the quality management doesn't end at the handover. All of the assets, including installed on site, will need continued monitoring and regular maintenance. So through the Assets tab, teams can leverage a centralized place to track and manage the lifecycle of project assets from the design through to the handover. So this includes storing all of the asset-related documentation in a centralized database that is easily available to hand over to owners and maintenance teams. An ongoing benefit of centralized asset and equipment tracking is the ability to easily access asset data in the field. And this also allows teams to perform commissioning and quickly resolve defects while reducing risks. Finally, teams can connect workflows, increase the project lifecycle transparency by linking relevant forms, issues directly to the asset. So this allows us to enhance our quality management workflows today to reduce that rework, to increase transparency, and to speed up the issue resolution with Autodesk Build. Which brings us to the project closeout. So we've gone through design, we've gone through plan, we've gone through build. We've got all of this data that we've been starting to bring together. How do we go about handing this over? What is our deliverable to our client, or potentially to my OF&M team or my services team? So using the asset module, we have all of this information in a very easily accessible way that we can start to then hand over in a very clean package to our managers. So we can reduce that building maintenance risk, and we can quickly resolve those defects and hand them over as in that deliverable. And then the documentation. So we've had all of our design documentation, we've had all of our folder organization. We can start to look at how this works and then simply export it to our end users. This is a huge piece, because when we start to look at how this works with return clients, time and time again, we hear, the handover was just so easy. Let's make sure that we bump them up for our next job. Finally is our insights. So everyday construction projects and have thousands of open issues, RFIs, all of this data you can imagine is coming into this central place. How do we start to use it? So we can start to use this through the customized dashboards. So teams can easily get a holistic view, both project and cross-project analytics. So when we start to look at that project data, we can see this in an individual, but then we can bring in the others and start to look at this over a portfolio. So starting on the project home dashboard, this is where all team members see a personalized, actionable view into the project status. From here, we can create and track milestones. We can easily access the important links, view and filter recent activity, and reference assigned work and take action. Additionally, teams can make sure everyone is keeping their mobile app up to date to ensure that they have the latest information. Team members can also view and share customized project-specific dashboards. So through the dashboard settings, users can select a permissions level based on roles, users, or companies. We can choose from dozens of different dashboard cards, including third-party integration partner cards, such as scheduling and estimating software, site cameras, artificial intelligence, or business intelligence tools. Once the cards are selected, we can start to bring them into our dashboard. We can easily move them around for our ideal setup before we save that out. In addition to the project level dashboards, executives can analyze data across projects to get a broader view of company-wide performance. So through these account level dashboards, users can see how all of the projects are performing. They can view trends, they can prioritize where to focus executive level attention. This brings me to Construct IQ. So the ability to manage risk on construction projects is all about having access to the right data at the right time. So we can take data analysis, risk prevention to the next level with the predicted ability of Construct IQ. So using this machine learning, Construct IQ scans project data and identifies high-risk areas that teams help resolve those issues on projects before they have costly or time-consuming impacts downstream. We can choose from an overview of that risk dashboard, or we can dig into more detail with the design, with project controls, with quality and safety dashboards. We can add, remove, and rearrange the Construction IQ specific cards throughout the card library. And then we can click to expand the cards and view more details such as status, such as risk levels, such as assignees, impact, and more. Reporting, so producing the daily and weekly reports has always been a critical but often a tedious part of any construction project. We can create a new report from a variety of templates. We can enter in the name of that report and the format for that report too. We can add filters, we can select a sorting mechanism, and then we can click to create the report. Once created, we can choose to download, to copy link, or to share the report with project members or stakeholders. Or you can start to look to automate the entire process by scheduling weekly or monthly reports. We can set up a reporting schedule and distribution list for hassle-free reporting. Accessing that data is not always easy and as it should be. And with this data connector, teams can easily start to export all of that project data with a single click. So through Data Connector, we can click to extract the project data across all projects and workflows. And once exported, all data can be easily re-imported into other robust business intelligence tools, such as Power BI. For more customized use with easy-to-use templates, users can extract and manipulate for more sophisticated analysis. And with the Power BI partner card within the platform, users can start to surface any visualization back into the Insights dashboard for other project members to see. So this allows us to start harnessing the power of that data today to better predict and minimize the project risk with Autodesk Insight. Okay, so let's take a look at our final few slides before we open this up for questions and answers. A big piece that we wanted you to take away from today is building a robust ecosystems and using Autodesk Construction Cloud as that collection point for the data. So we do partner with other areas. We have a robust ecosystem of third parties where we can start to collaborate. In fact, we've got over 175 direct integrations with other platforms. Construction companies are often adding more apps to their tech stacks, and this trend isn't necessarily slowing down anytime soon. So we've started to take an approach of where we can start to bring those in and use the information gathered and the information that's been brought in. So let's take this back to our initial poll question and our initial slide on what the cost of a fragmented industry is. I'm not sure if everyone remembers, but when we think about just 4.5% of all construction data goes used, that means that there is a huge opportunity here. We have the ability to start to connect in that design data. We have the opportunity to start to connect in that planning, that scheduling, that building, and right the way through into that OF&M. We have the opportunity to start to use even another 50% of this data. When we start to think of using that data, pulling out predictive insights, bringing it all from a fragmented different point solutions into one area, this is really where we start to see some of the key benefits that you as a business can achieve. So with that, I would really like to introduce a dear friend and a colleague of mine, David Allenson, who's our product marketing manager for the APAC region. And we're going to open it up to some questions and answers.
Okay, hello, Stephen.
Hey,
Thank you for that introduction. How are you going? That was a great presentation. We have a couple of questions coming through here. The first one's quite interesting. It says, you mentioned in your presentation and also showed in the video the use of mobile devices. So what mobile devices can people use?
Great question. Perfect. So yeah, absolutely. We've shown that we use a mobile piece is the big piece of this, right? So being able to connect those teams and removing the barriers of that connection is a key point. And because removing that barrier is such a big part of the Autodesk approach to this, we are pretty much device agnostic. So if you use iPads, if you use Android, it's the same. It doesn't matter. We want all of these, connecting all of these different parties is really the key point. So enabling and opening the platform for all of the collection points is our key one. So the short answer is iOS, Android, it's up to you.
That's great. And that's fantastic. And there's another connected question there around how do you synchronize the data from the mobile to the rest of the platform? Do you need mobile data to do that?
Great question. Great question. So I, in previous experience, have worked with this product, funnily enough, in remote project in the outback of Australia where I'm located. We don't need a mobile connection, a constant mobile connection. So one of the big, I suppose, powerful points about Autodesk Build and the PlanGrid Build app is the ability to sync all of the project information to your device when you do have a connection. So then you can go out to the site, 90% or let's go 95.5% of them will not have a mobile connection. So then we can start to use and interact with that project data on the device. As soon as I get back into signal range or I hit a connection, it uploads. It will sync everything up. It will sync everything down. So we do have that connection while not being on a mobile plan or having that signal.
Excellent, thank you. A question coming through. What is the minimal specification PC to run this?
So the minimal specification PC, this is interesting because really it's about how you run your web browser. This is all cloud-based, so there's no real limits as to what you need in your desktop. It works on devices, it works on mobile phones, it works on desktops, and again, because it's really based on your browser, it's not about how much RAM or how many gigabytes you have. The one point I will point out on this though is the device limits. So if you were looking at loading up a 3 terabyte project onto a mobile device, you might hit a snag. But now with the mobile devices increasing in storage, this is not even a problem anymore. So the desktop version, it's browser based, so it's not pulling from the RAM within your system. And then with the mobile devices, it's just to keep an eye on the storage. But it also gives you the ability to control that storage too.
Yes, and I think also from Cotman, he's just making the point, does this mean we need fast internet?
So it doesn't. So you do. I mean, fast internet is definitely going to be a help for this. That doesn't mean that it's completely necessary. I'm based, funnily enough, in regional Victoria, where there's not fantastic internet. I'm not sure if this connection is going okay. It hasn't impacted the way that I use it. Don't get me wrong, if you have an incredibly bad connection, you might face problems, but I've run the system off of my hotspot from my phone and had no lag.
Excellent, thank you. Here's an interesting question.
I love the interesting ones.
Yeah, can Autodesk Build integrate a master program into the entire fabric of this platform so that tasks and construction milestones are synced and paced?
So that's a very interesting one, which I'm trying to think of if I can answer directly or not. So we are very aware of the role that a master program plays. We know that there's some very in-depth tools out there at the moment that produce these master schedules. So things like Primavera P6, things like Microsoft Projects, and we're currently looking at releasing a tool that, you're right, we can bring this in. We can start to interact with it. We can start to use this to define certain areas, including things like cost. So if we can bring that in and start to look at how this matches up with, for example, our budget, and then start to tie that in, how much information we can start to link between those two. So we can even do things like, I mean, like I said, what is the new possible, connecting in, cost to complete forecasting, front-loaded budgets, back-loaded budgets. But yes, being able to view those is a critical point, and is something we're very close to looking at.
Okay, thank you. I have a question here from Raymond. How many full-time drafters or hands-on personnel, excluding the managers, will be needed for a project from design phase to construction phase? I think that's a bit of an open question, perhaps. So,
so it's an open question because it's how long could a piece of string be, what size could the project be, but the goal of the platform is to really not reduce the number of hands it goes through, but create efficiencies in that passing of information from point to point. So yeah, the number of project managers that are needed, or the draftees that are needed, is I suppose on a business by business, project by project, team by team basis. But the platform is there to start to look at how we can make those connections. And then we've introduced new licensing models, so we can start to look at how we enable everyone on the platform in a way that makes most financial sense to the business too.
Okay, so we just have a couple of minutes left. So I think I'm just going to pull out an interesting question here. In the future, will there be the ability to share Autodesk Desktop Connect apps folders to network users? Our project team work at a new developing area where the internet connection didn't allow viewing the cloud file.
Okay, so I think this is more talking about something like the desktop connector, right? So
yes.
Yeah, with the desktop connector, which also works for Autodesk Build, you can open up as if it was just a network drive within your own computer. And then as a column of part of that desktop connector, you can see the status of all those files. So if you have a big Revit model, you might have a Revit model that's over 1 gigabyte in size. Of course, you don't want to have all of those downloaded to your device at any one time. But what you do want is the ability to see where it's at, look at the versions, and then sync it to your device sync it to your device, if you wanted to use that. So yeah, the desktop connector is definitely a key part of that. If your internet speed is poor enough that you can't open that model in the cloud.
Excellent, thank you.
Perfect.
So let's have a look at other questions coming through here. We did have one from Mark about is Autodesk OS based, like it cannot run on Linux, or can it, all of them run it? And I think we covered that earlier. Basically, you can access the Autodesk Construction Cloud through your web browser. We have compatibility with all the web browsers that are out there. So there shouldn't be any issues there about accessing, depending on what type of computer you're using to do that. Let's have a little look here. What type of design documents and packages do you work with? That might be our last question for today.
Okay, last questions. So what type of design documents and packages do we work with? So of course, being Autodesk, our preferences, or not our preference, but we interact very well with all of our native file formats. So RVT, DWG, DXF, all of those file formats, are key to how it works. Our cloud work sharing works with those files too. But as I said, we're taking an open approach. So within Docs, we can start to view, I think it's up to 62 or 63 different file formats, and they are not just Autodesk specific. So we can start to look at the DSGNs, or we can start to look at the IFC formats within the Autodesk ecosphere, because like I said, everyone might use something slightly differently. This is really intended to be the platform where we can bring those into one point. So yeah, we have compatibility with 60, I think it's 62 different file formats that you can start to use, to view, and to interact with through the platform.
Well, thank you, Stephen. That's really good to hear. I think that's probably all we've got time for today. So with that, I think we'll hand back over to our hosts to finish off.